nuts. I didn't understand why I need 5 newspapers. In those days in New York, there was the Journal American, the Daily News, the New York Post. I forget, the Herald Tribune. He would never buy the New York Times. He felt uncomfortable reading it. He would never buy the New York Times because he was like Michelle Obama in a museum. If he were to buy the New York Times, he felt unwelcome at the newsstand. Then when I became a young social worker, I tried to ride the subway and look like a white person. I tried to pass for middle-class white. So I got the Brooks Brothers raincoat. I learned how to fold the New York Times while riding a subway car with one hand. That's quite a trick, by the way. That's very William F. Buckley Jr., is to hold on to a strap and read a paper. Man, you're really smart. You're as close to Dostoevsky as you can imagine. And here we are today, the year 2015, the 7th of May. You're listening to a radio talk show in the greatest nation in the history of the world, and in the last days of freedom, unless these Sharia maniacs are stopped. And I shall return.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. I am so happy to be alive. You have no idea what life force I have. Sometimes I get so high on life. I get so up in the natch area. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, the older I get, I go down some days, but some days, some moments, I'm so happy. I'm so alive. I feel that now. I feel so good because I'm expressing myself. To me, you know the statement, give me liberty or give me death. Do you understand what it means? If you have a zipper on your mouth, you may as well be dead. And that's what the Muslims want to do to you. They want to zip your mouth up. It starts with Sharia about the prophet. The next thing, it's bacon on the menu. The next day, it's crosses on the churches. The next day, it's imposing some other crazy throwback law. Don't you understand what's at stake right now in this country? Then you got the 2 revolutionaries in the White House trying to stir the masses up against the middle class. So Michelle's statement, uncomfortable in museums, you hear? All of a sudden, she's uncomfortable. A woman who went to Ivy Leagues, had the best of life, her whole life. All of a sudden, she was uncomfortable in museums. I just got an email that someone sent to the guys down in Dallas. I got to read it to you. It's anonymous. It says, I grew up in a fairly rural town that had only one museum. A very small museum, which I went to on a grade school field trip. My first significant museum experience was later on in life in San Francisco when I was 28 years old. I was nervous because I didn't know museum etiquette, if any existed, or what to expect or what to wear. I was self-conscious. So naturally, I felt everyone was staring at me. But guess what? I'm not black. In fact, I'm white, she says. I'm a white woman, and I didn't have access to museums growing up. And I was nervous and self-conscious when I went to a real museum for the first time. She said, it must be because everyone is racist. You know, sarcastically, etc. You get the picture? Nothing to do with race. And I'll remind you again, I go to museums, and the guards follow me around. I don't look like a maniac. I don't understand it. Sometimes I ask myself, I get mad, by the way. There's one in particular, I don't think he knows me at all. I go into an empty room in the De Young Museum, and there's a certain room I love with a ship on ice from 1862 of a whaling ship stuck on the ice. I love this painting. And I sometimes stare at it. Maybe he thinks I'm a psycho because I stare at one painting. He doesn't even understand the protocols of a museum himself as a guard. They think you're supposed to be moving along like you're in a circus. They don't understand the object of going to a museum is to actually study the paintings. Most people go there to possess the visitorship. They walk through the museum as fast as they can. Okay, check off the Cezanne, check off the Gauguin, check off the Picasso, check off the this one, check off. And they're through already. They tell you what they saw. They didn't see anything. The object of a museum is actually study the art. So stand in front of a painting. Try standing in front of any great piece of oil for 5 minutes and stare only at one painting. See what happens to you. That's a great experience. Of course, the guards think you're a psycho about to break the glass and slash it. So naturally, they stare at you because no one knows how to look at a painting anymore. The greatest museum experience I ever had, speaking of museums, was 20 years ago, San Francisco, the Young Museum had a visiting exhibition of the Van Goghs, and one of the Van Goghs was a small self-portrait, and it had no glass on it. So you could actually see the painting. I was able to stand in front of it and stare at it. I felt his psychosis as he was painting it. I got caught up and pulled into the swirls of the oil. It was just of his face. But the longer you stared at the painting, the more you felt the man's edginess, meaning madness. He was mad when he painted this picture. It was well known that he went in and out of madness. He'll pull you into his madness if you study the Van Gogh long enough by staring right at it. See, that's the difference between looking at it online, everything online. Having sex online is not quite the same as having sex in life, is it? Well, staring at an oil painting is not the same as looking at it online. We have a whole generation of idiots who don't know what life is. Walking around, another appendage to their body. 2 arms, 2 legs, and an iPhone. That's an appendage of the body. You ever see the morons? They can't put it down. Not for 1 second. They go to the bathroom to relieve themselves. They have an iPhone in their hand. What message could possibly be coming in? What is he on a bombing mission over Stuttgart? What does he need the iPhone in the toilet for? What is he going to miss, the moron? Or the busybodies every second on the they're walking in the street, tap, tap, to tap, to tap, to tap, to tap. They're sending secret signals to Iran. Every minute they're getting and sending secret messages. Aha, aha, there she is in the street with her. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. I'm having fun. I'm feeling good. I'm making points. It's the Savage Nation. My new novel's out next week, Countdown to Mecca. If you really like me, I want you to buy it. You know why? For you. If you bought any of the other Jack Hatfield novels, you got to have this one because I'm not writing anymore. Jack Hatfield's dead.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
I see a headline, McDonald's embracing a new ingredient, kale. I mean, this is absurd. Who goes to McDonald's for health food? Does anyone you know go to McDonald's for health food diets? And the idiot who just took over McDonald's, listen to this, Steve Estabrook says, he wants to turn the chain into a, quote, modern progressive burger company. We don't go there for progressive burgers. We want throwback burgers. I eat them once in a while, but if I go to McDonald's, I don't want a progressive burger dripping in kale, which induces diarrhea. You know, it's crazy because McDonald's recently ran an ad that celebrated the Big Mac and mocked trendy ingredients like soy, which I hate. Soy gives me hives. Quinoa, I can't digest it. I don't think goats can eat quinoa. Greek yogurt, I could do without. It's bankrupt. And kale, I don't eat because it causes diarrhea. I don't eat any of this garbage. I wrote books on health food. Why must I embrace progressive vegetables now? And progressive ingredients. I don't understand this, how maddening it gets. People are so into like trends. Oh, yeah, I'm into kale. Yeah, I'm into kale. Why are you into kale, idiot? Everywhere you turn, idiots eat kale. They wear these exercise suits. What do you call these? The outfits that the women wear, the tight outfits? I don't know what they're called. Yoga pants. Do you want to wear yoga pants and go have a kale breakfast? Do you have any idea what you're risking with that? It's a family show. Now, Tesla, another example of progressive idiocy. I was told last night by another person who knows a lot, Tesla's the #1 car towed away in America. The idiots are running out of battery juice. I swear to God. It's unbelievable. They're speeding along in the electric car. It's like I had electric trains when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like when the motor would burn out, the train would stop. They can't get enough places to plug them in. That's the world I'm living in. So now going back to politics per se, I look at this story I didn't get to. Wait, hold it. Aside from Michelle and the museums, here's 6 stories I didn't get to. Cup of cocoa a day keeps memory loss away. I found this on an old issue of Russian RT.com. Is that illegal for me to read RT.com? The Russian language website? I mean, you read the New York Times, the New York Post, Politico. That's kind of the government. RT.com says a cup of cocoa a day keeps memory loss away. And it's because of the flavonols in the cocoa. And it says, if a participant had the memory of a typical 60-year-old at the beginning of the study, after 3 months, that person on average had the memory of a typical 30 or 4-year-old. Now, this is a good study from Columbia University Medical Center. It's not a marginal study. And it's a dietary experiment based on the effects of flavonols extracted from cocoa beans on the aging human brain, published in the journal Nature and Neuroscience on Sunday, I think it was last April. It's a good study. Now, we know that flavonoids and flavonols are all health-inducing. I really don't know of any negative toxicants from flavonols. I know an awful lot about toxicants in plants. I don't know of any flavonols that are toxic. There may be some. But here's the thing about that study. It's not cocoa that you can get in the market because it's a specially prepared cocoa drink that has 900 milligrams of flavonols, whereas the cocoa drinks that you're getting typically have 10 milligrams because they're denuded of the flavonols. So what you got to do now is say, okay, so what do I eat to get the flavonoids to keep my memory alive? I'll make it simple. Berries, fruits that grow on trees, nuts and beans, certain vegetables, particularly, again, those vegetables banned by the nuts who eat kale, those in the nightshade family, which is, I tell you why there's a mental deficiency going on in America. No meat, so they have no iron. That's number one, so they have no energy. Number two, they've eschewed nightshades. Oh, no, don't give me a tomato. Don't give me a red pepper. Don't give me an eggplant. Highly, highly, highly rich in the flavonols. Everything they don't eat. Peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, high in the flavonoids, quercetin, and the flavones, luteolin. Onions. They probably don't eat onions. The exercise pants people. Spices high in certain types of flavonoids, and certain fruit juices high in flavonoids. And that would include red grapes. I eat grapes day and night. So tea. Did you know that tea of all types, including black, red, and green tea, have been shown to be high in catechins, such as epigallocatechin, along with related flavonols such as, well, I won't read the name just to show you how smart I am. Tea is good for you. So what I'm saying is you can get the flavonols from a wide variety of beverages and vegetables and fruits, and it's good to keep your memory going. It's probably why I still have a great memory. I forget nothing. I remember insults from 50 years ago. That's why I don't talk to anyone in my family. I mean, my immediate family, yes. The ones I left behind in New York and Florida, I wouldn't be caught dead in the room with them. Maybe one or two, distant, not the actual family members would I talk to, but the ones they married, some of them are good. Oh, what else do you want to talk about? Iran bill approved. Senate okays measure giving Congress nuke deal review. Total lie. Total lie. It was Obama's bill that they just approved, the sellouts in Congress. They may as well be Justin Bieber, the Republican Party. Concerned with their abs. I mean, the entire Republican Party looks like a 19-year-old moron with tattoos who's concerned with his abs, not with the nation. It's a shit. The whole thing's crazy. Okay's measure giving Congress nuke deal review. No, it gives them nothing. Zero, if you study it. Sorry. Fed court deals blow to NSA phone data program. Yes, that's a good story. That's positive. The federal court just said to the NSA they don't have the blanket right to screen everything that you do. Good. Now see if you can stop the idiots who are doing it. British voters go to polls. We'll have the results for you in 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes from now. We're going to find out what England's going to become, whether it's going to be the Lion of Britain or the Lamb of Britain. We don't know yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Lamb of Britain no matter who wins. Michael on WABC. Fire away. You're on the Savage Nation. What's on your mind? What's the topic?
Good afternoon, Mr. Savage. Actually a fan of your show. I wanted to agree with one of the previous callers about feeling uncomfortable in the museum.
What do I care if you felt uncomfortable? What is that my business? Why would you feel uncomfortable? What made you uncomfortable?
You know what it is? It's an easy feeling when it happens repeatedly, and it's just the overall thing that most, I guess, people of color experience. Again,
color. That's all that's on your mind, color. I told you I felt uncomfortable in a museum as a poor white kid. We explained to you it's about being poor, not about being black or brown. Don't you understand that? But Obama's trying to make it a racial issue.
Right. Well, my grandmother's Italian, so, I am of a mixed race.
Let me explain something. If you fall into the trap that Obama's laying for you, where everything you do is seen through the lens of racism, you're enslaving yourself. You're not ennobling yourself. You're not giving yourself the opportunity to move above the prison he's created for you. What you do is you go to the museum and you say, all right, so I don't feel that comfortable here. It's kind of like above me in class or something like that. That's what you're probably feeling. Like I don't really belong here. I've only gone to movies, but you figure you want to go and see, fine art. Don't focus on the people. Focus on the art. That's the message. Michael, the message is focus on the art and forget the people and the guards. If you go stand in front of one of those great alabaster figures done in Roman times and you see the smooth lines of the body, the human body,